Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. Thank you to my 1,681 subscribers. What would I do without you? No one would be listening. But you are. You're here, you're listening, you're getting enlightened, inspired, and awakening to the reality of life and the reality of how you can make it if you want it to be. Okay, let's go. I do talk about reality sometimes, but what is reality? Is reality what is reality what the social media tells us? Probably truer than mainline media. Well, let's see. I was thinking today about what's gone on in the last 2 or 3 years, this illness that has been so prevalent, or at least it's been prevalent in the news. I don't know how prevalent it was in reality, but if you believed it was terrible, I guarantee it was. I didn't buy into it, so it didn't affect me or my family, my 6 kids, or really any of my friends. One friend, as I've said before, as far as I know, he got it and he did pass away from it because he was very sick and already in a nursing home, which from what I read, most people that died from it or got very sick from it had pre-existing conditions. So think about that. I'm not saying anything, of course, but think about that. But I was reading today on the official site of that dreaded disease. It says this: factors that can help protect you from getting very sick from that disease. I'll put it that way. You're still limited about what you can say here on YouTube, so I'm very careful to follow the guidelines. And it says, how can you say this? The stick in the arm. Okay. The stick in the arm are safe and effective. Or would that be is safe and effective? Okay. They're still saying that. Contrary to what I've been hearing a lot about. And actually, I just talked to a nurse today. And she's like right on the front lines. She didn't get the stick in the arm. And she was very glad. But she did get the illness, and she made it through that okay. So, and she knows many people who have got the stick in the arm, but have got the illness 2 or 3 times since then. Anyway, so staying up to date with your stick in the arm is the best way to protect yourself and others around you from getting very sick. I just heard the other day that it doesn't prevent other people from getting sick, even if you've got the stick in the arm. And also, it doesn't stop you from getting the dreaded illness. But that's what they used to say. When it first came out, it was you was going to stop that, and it was a scamdemic of the unvaccinated. I think our illustrious leader said that. And let me see, there was another woman that said, if you get the stick in the arm, you won't spread it, and you won't get it. That's changed, hasn't it? Actually, I've talked to several people who have got the first stick in the arm and several after to make that one stronger, and they've gotten this dreaded illness 3 or 4 times. And as far as I know, I've never had it, nor have my kids. None of us have been severely ill. Strange. Well, you can take that for what it's worth. I'm not saying anything about whether it works or not. Let's go on and see. Being hospitalized or dying from this illness, how do I say? Extra help sticks in the arm can give you additional protection. I just talked to a guy the other day who's a friend of mine I know personally, and ever since he got the stick in the arm, he's been sick quite a few times. Yeah, I wonder. The stick in the arm can help enhance or restore protection that might have decreased over time. People who are stuck in the arm with all recommended doses, including the extra ones that are supposed to help you, are far less likely to be hospitalized or die from the dreaded illness than people the same age who have not had the stick in the arm or who are not up to date on their stick in the arm remedies. That's what they call it. However, even though stick in the arms reduce their risk, some people, particularly older adults, with multiple underlying health conditions or people who are immunocompromised can still get very sick from this dreaded illness. Amazing. And actually, I read on their site that if you're in good shape and healthy, that the symptoms are just like a mild cold, or, yeah, they didn't even say flu. You actually won't bother you at all. So back to my original point, I was thinking this thing lasted 2 or 3 years, and I suppose it's still going on because they're still recommending this cure that doesn't seem to be working very well, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong. And I'm not telling you what to do. But how about this? Let's say we really focused on getting everybody healthy. Because they've even said, I watched Fauci and, who was it? Rand Paul talking about that today. And Fauci himself admits that a strong immune system is the best defense against these things, or this dreaded illness. But yet, I don't see anyone encouraging people to eat good food, go to the gym, exercise, lose weight, get in shape. So if that is truly the best defense, which is obviously has been proven by watching what's going on, and the people that die from this or get really sick are the ones that already have pre-existing conditions, or they are in very bad health to start with. And contrary to what they want to put on mainline news media, we've had an increase in deaths since all this started. Many athletes are falling over dead because of heart attacks and different things. Now, I'm not saying it's because of the supposed cure, but what's causing this? And the strange thing is, no one from the mainline news media is saying much about this, and no one wants to investigate it. But there are people in Congress and over in the UK, also in their parliament, that are bringing this up and asking, why isn't anybody looking into this? I wonder why. They're not looking into that, but they're still pushing this cure that I'm not sure how effective it's been. As I said, I've known several people that's taken that and the extra help sticks in the arm, and they've gotten sick several times with the illness. I believe what I see in this situation, not so much what I hear, because I'm not saying that mainline news media could be tainted, or they're not actually telling us the whole truth, or that anybody's influenced by the billions of dollars that some of the drug companies have made during this thing. But something seems a little strange here to me. I'll let you be the judge of that. But they're still pushing this just like they were at first. And doesn't seem to be working to me, at least from the evidence what I'm seeing. So I'm not real sure what the motive here is. Couldn't be money, no. Profit, couldn't be. I wouldn't say that was what it was. But back to my point about why didn't we spend millions or even billions of dollars getting people to eat healthy? And maybe kind of talking to the big food companies about creating some good products out there that actually still have vitamins and minerals in them instead of just calories and junk and ingredients that you can't even begin to pronounce. But wait a second. The big food company is the biggest. Let me see. They spend more money on what is it called? Lobbyists than anyone in the world. And I think number 2 is, what was number 2? Who spends, big food company, and who is the next one? Insurance companies are one. Healthcare, big pharma. I think they're number 2. I could be wrong about those, but I'm pretty sure that the big food company spends the most. Big pharma's right up there in the top 10. So how much influence do they have on the government, the CDC? Now also I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, that the FDA is funded by big pharma, and a part of them is funded by the pharmaceutical companies. And the regulators are also funded by pharmaceutical companies. So how can they be unbiased? Yeah, and also they were asking Fauci today if he benefited or if he was getting any kind of benefits or any of the people involved in this CDC and the organization or the committee he's on had money in the pharmaceutical industry and were getting, how would I say, profits or benefits? What is the word? We're getting kickbacks. It's not the word he used, but benefiting from it. If they've got money invested in those companies and they're for benefiting from it, he won't answer the question. That seems a little fishy, doesn't it? Why wouldn't he answer the question? If he was benefiting from it, and I'm not saying he is, they're going to find out, so they say, would that sway his decision to continue to encourage people to get the extra cures and the original stick in the arm? Could have something to do with it. Possibly. So let's see what happens. All I know is each person needs to make his own decision about what he thinks he needs to do, and then he reaps the benefits or suffers the consequences of it. But it would be nice if we got the full story, the real information, instead of the statistics that they just want us to see. But as I said, I went by what I saw. When this thing first came out, you would have thought that every time I went to town, I seen 4 or 5 people laying in the street, choking and coughing and croaking. But I never seen anybody. And actually, I knew friends of mine, acquaintances that supposedly had it, and they did just fine. And as I said, I only knew 2 people. There was a friend of mine who was in terrible health, and the other woman was 97 years old with Alzheimer's. So that started making me wonder. But the way the media poured it out, I mean, this was the most terrible thing since, I don't know, global warming. Yeah, there's another one. Well, I think we'll be here for a while. Back in 1985, here it got up to 115 degrees. It has never been that hot since. So it's warming up. I don't see the results of that either. What we have to remember is many of these agencies and government entities have their own agenda. And it really isn't your welfare. At least I don't think so. Governments are for the government. When they originally started, and the idea of it, of course, is for the people. But more and more it becomes for the government. And I think that's why they didn't like Trump in there. Yeah, he's crude, he's rough, abrasive, he's not a politician, but he tells it like it is, and he tells it like he believes it is. He doesn't butter it up like a politician. And he doesn't need anybody's approval. He doesn't need anybody's kickbacks or money. Nobody gave money to him for him to run for president that he has to pay back. Now, all the rest of these politicians, they have people that scratch their back and they have to scratch back. That's something to think about too. I've lived 62 years, coming up on 63, and I've seen this stuff come and go. And I'll be honest with you, I've never seen so many people, well, controlled by fear during this thing the last 3 years. Now, I would be dishonest if I said I wasn't afraid when this first happened, because I didn't know anything. Okay, I only know what I heard. But they used this to paralyze the whole world. Think about this. I look at it as an analogy of war. They created an enemy that you couldn't see, but yet an enemy that's made many, many people, billions of people afraid. They controlled the media. They told only what they wanted you to hear. And that was in the direction of fear. Just like if we were being attacked by an outside force, like a country's being attacked by another country. Except in this case, they made it out like this was attacking the world and it was going to destroy humanity, which is not even close to the truth. Even if they had done nothing. Actually, we may have had less problems and deaths if they had done nothing. But yet they pushed it and pushed it. And when they had everybody scared to death to come out and actually force people to stay in their homes, in some countries it was really strict. It wasn't here. I kept doing everything that I always did. I wasn't a mask wearer. I did wear it once or twice when I had to get my hair cut or they wouldn't have I guess I didn't have to get my hair cut, but I didn't. I would go in a store, I just wouldn't put it on. Do I care about other people? Of course I do. But it was ridiculous, in my opinion. Like I said, I could be wrong. But they went back and forth on whether that was effective, whether it wasn't effective. So I don't know what the end result they came up with was, whether it was or wasn't effective. And then they came out with a cure. Once they had everybody so afraid that they were willing to just grab at anything to kill the illness? No, the fear. The fear. That's what they wanted to end. The fear of getting sick. Because if you looked around in reality, I'm talking about what was really happening. What you could see in your neighborhood where you were at. I didn't see any overloaded hospitals. I didn't see people dying everywhere. As a matter of fact, there are more people laid out in the funeral now, because I drive by there every Friday to go to a meeting, than there was during this dreaded illness. Where were they? Where were those people? And now there's like a 25% higher death rate in many countries than there were when this was going on. How do you explain that? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know a lot of people were saying that this was some depopulation deal. And I thought, that is ridiculous. I heard that. But now I'm beginning to wonder. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment section. I want to know what you think about this. And I'm not against you if you took the cure. I hope everything's okay for you. I hope your health's good. And I hope you have no problems with that. And I hope it protects you. Everyone should have their own choice. I chose not to. And but I'm healthy. I take care of myself. I'm in excellent health. As I said when I started this, so why didn't we push for people to get themselves healthy? Because if they would have started that, because nobody's denying that your immune system is powerful, and the people with the weakened immune system were the ones that got the sickest. Why didn't we push for exercise and proper diet and people losing weight? Because also these cells from this illness would attach themselves more on fat cells. So the heavier you were, the worse it was for you. These are all things that I've read from the actual government site. This isn't some wacko on YouTube that talked about these things. You can check it out yourself. See if I'm telling you how it is. I may not have it exactly right, but it's close. I looked at the numbers when all this was going on, and there were like way less than 1% of the world's population were actually passing away from this. So that was another thing that took the fear away from me. And that was if you believed the statistics, because what they're talking about now is people would die from something else, and then if they had the illness, they would mark it down as that was the cause of death. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but some people are saying that, and that doesn't surprise me at all. A friend of mine worked in a hospital, and when it started easing up, they started telling her to raise the bar for people that came in there. How would I say this? It was harder to get diagnosed as having the illness. They told her to make it harder to be diagnosed as having it once they started saying things were lightening up. So they were lessening the cases of this illness because they were told to. So that's strange too. And I've talked to several people who are actually doctors and nurses, and they could not verify what the media was saying about the overcrowded hospitals and hauling people out in tractor trailer trucks and so many people dying that didn't know what to do with the bodies and all this. To me, it was just bull crap. And things are starting to come out too. A lot of the truth or things that were hidden from us are coming out. Look how many people got censored and banned on YouTube for what they call misinformation, and now finding out that what they were saying was true. But yet the mainline media gave us misinformation too. As I said, they told us that this cure would stop the spread and would stop you from getting it. And neither one of those statements are true. But yet they're still pushing for you to get that. And now even children. And they were even thinking about, well, some people were forced to get that cure or lose their jobs. The lady I talked to today got a religious exemption, but she still had to go have a test once a week, and it was a big hassle for her. but she's still glad she didn't take the cure, even though she did get the illness. And she said she got pretty sick. She's an older woman. It was about a week and a half for her, or 2 weeks. She had a fever, and it was pretty hard on her. Now, her health, by looking at her, is not terrible, but it's not what you would call a person who's really fit. So why didn't we push for people to get in better shape? Let's say we would have. Let's say we'd have made people go to the gyms. I mean, they were talking about making people take the cure, forcing them. Why didn't we make people go to the gyms and make them exercise and make them take care of themselves and regulate their food? If you want to start regulating, mandating people to do things and making them to do things, make them eat healthy food. Cut out these fast food restaurants and all this garbage food. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. It sounds impossible. But before we would have thought it was impossible for them to lock down the world like they did too, but they did it. So you tell me which one would have benefited people the most. Well, I think it's obvious. In the long run, getting healthy would benefit everyone the most, but it wouldn't benefit the big pharma companies and other people who had their hands in the till, who have stocks and money invested in those companies. I'm not saying it's some evil plan, but money can motivate people to do things and justify those things and make it okay in their mind, even if it's not okay. Just some things to think about that I've thought about over the last couple of years. As I said, leave a comment in the comment section. I'd really like to know what you guys think. And if you have a situation or a problem, I can do a video about it, try to help you out. Or if you'd like to get my help personally, I got a deal on consultations, 1.5 hour consultations this month. Well, only for the month of February because my other business is slow, so I got lots of time to help somebody. So send me an email or contact me through my website at MarksInspiration.com. And I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will be talking about something new. Join us this Saturday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, as I'm going to have all my family, 6 kids on there, and we're going to talk about whether they think Andrew Tate is a positive or a negative influence on society. But if this is on YouTube, we'll already have done that podcast. But on Instagram, you can check it out. Anyway, we have a podcast every Saturday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. The power is within, and we got some cool topics, things that you'll enjoy. Get on the live chat, talk to us. We'll recognize you, and if you have a question, we'll answer you. See you then. Thank you. God bless you.